For some reason, and I don't know why, but it's creating the videos, but it's not opening them in stream. Like you'll be able to, I guess, download them from the chat like I told you. But I'm going to go ahead and post them also under readings and resources, the classroom videos, just so that you'll have easier access to them on D2L. But for whatever reason, they're not going into the stream saving. I don't know if I've ate up all my space or what's happened, but I'll report a problem later. So now we're going to do compound shapes. Compound shapes are shapes that have one or more of the three fundamental shapes building them. So for instance, where are you, Cassandra? This is a compound shape. It's a cylinder with a conical shape, which is kind of a upside down basket. It's got an ellipse, depending on your angle. And it has kind of a shoulder that's kind of like a sphere. And you can imagine a sphere continuing in that shape, right? This would be another compound shape. So bottles specifically are compound shapes. So it's got a cylinder, it's got a conical kind of ovoid shape, and then another cylinder, and yet another cylinder. Okay, there you are. This would be a compound shape. So this is like a rectangle, right? Does everybody see that? It's like a rectangular shape with a spherical shoulder, with a cylindrical neck, and a very short conical top. So these are called compound shapes. Another one would be this. So it has a rectilinear planar base with a cylindrical kind of flaring cone. And then you've got this, which is just a cylinder that's got all kinds of taper and change in it. Then you've got another kind of upside down conical form, cylinder form. And then you have these little spherical forms all the way around the periphery of it. And of course, depending on your angle, you're going to have an elliptical shape as well. So these are called compound shapes. You understand now why they're called compound shapes? Okay. So let's start off with something simple first. So beer bottle. And I'm going to send a video, well, there'll be a video for you guys to watch. That's called impatience. So again, just like before, you're trying to draw these things, and the homework is going to be to draw 4 compound cylinders. It's in your email. I've already sent it to you. But again, in your sketchbook, with pencil as large as you can without going off the page, using this constructive line method. So again, I'm determining that I want the bottle to fit there. I'm fairly confident that it will, because if you look at the bottle, it's a rectangle, right? It's a rectangular shape. It's higher than it is wide. I would guesstimate that it's probably about 1/3 as high as it is wide. So if that's 1/3, then that's my guesstimation for about how wide it is. Okay? Now, the question is, when you're looking at it, so you got the height, and then you got these stops along the way, right? So the first stop is a cylinder, right? So where is that cylinder in the total height of the bottle? It's about what, Lauren? About half. It's a little below half. So if this is half, sorry guys. So if this is half, that's where our cylinder is going to end. right? And sometimes what I like to do when I'm drawing something like this, you can see my bald spot, is hold my pencil up and run it along that ellipse so that I can kind of get that hand motion down. You follow what I mean? Because I can't see the whole ellipse there, but I know that there's an ellipse. Now the next thing that I would do is I would say, well, that shoulder went over there. So the shoulder here looks kind of like a spherical shape or a dome shape, right? So I can draw a dome shape. So notice I'm not doing this. You follow what I mean? It's always about working side to side, back and forth. Because you want to maintain symmetry. That makes sense? Now, the conical shape, which is from here to here, looks to be about equal with the cylinder shape, right? But a little bit smaller. So I take that measurement and I make it a little bit smaller. Does that make sense? And I draw that elliptical form at the bottom. Does that make sense? Now, I'm going to do something purposely wrong. Okay, so what looks wrong about that? The top is too narrow, it's too small. So if I do this, does that look better? Yes? You follow what I mean? So I made a decision, and I started too small, but then I gestured out. So I moved that line outward. You follow what I mean? So it's like guessing, and then saying, too small, move it out. Does that make sense? And then on top, I see a bottle head. What's wrong with that bottle head that I've drawn? It's too tall, right? So I'll bring it in. Does that look better? You follow what I mean? And that's just a cylindrical shape. Okay? Now, when I'm looking at that ellipse, there's no way I can measure that ellipse. But to me, it looks about half as tall, twice as wide as it is tall. So I'm going to make a guess. Actually, well, that looks too small to me. So I'm going to open it up. You follow what I mean? Now, if you look, there's this little break here where it's a concave surface, right? So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to make that there, and then I'm immediately going to palm over to the other side. Why do I do that? Can you guess, Elijah, why I would do this and then immediately come over there? What? To make it symmetrical. Elijah got it. That was perfect. Thank you, Elijah. Everybody give Elijah a good hand. All right. So now I want to transition. I can see like another little kind of ghost of a elliptical shape here. This is this kind of little white line right there. You see it? So that's where this dip stops here and here. And then it's just a matter of coming over here and doing that, and then coming over here and doing the same thing on the other side. Why would I do that? To make it symmetrical. I'm noticing it's a little wide here, and I'm also noticing that there's a little bit of a flare to the sides of that bottle. It's not quite straight-sided. You follow what I mean? So you can see how I tweak, right? And then what I notice about the bottom is there's that chamfer at the bottom. You see it? Where there's an angle at the bottom. Then I can come in here and start to get into these peripheral details. I call these tertiary details because they're smaller details, more particular, that need to happen later on in the process. And you can see how, as I become more sure of my drawing, I darken and I make more refinements. And how all of that business, come up close, so how all of this business, these gestural marks that you're seeing in here that were happening earlier, just kind of disappear, right? Because of the marks of finalization becoming more emphasized by darkening them. The diagrammatic constructive line types of marks become subordinate. Their visual weight becomes lighter, whereas the finalized lines become heavier or more emphasized. Does that make sense? So we've got to wrap it up, so you guys won't have time today to work on compound shapes. But before we go, because we've got 2 more minutes, let me just explain what the homework is. And I'll pull it up. So the homework is to watch the classroom videos, and I have uploaded an additional more cylinders video under readings and recordings for Module 1. If you were not here, or again, if you want additional practice. Then you're going to watch another instructional video. You have this one, and you'll have another one under Module 2, Reading and Resources, for assignment number 2, Constructive Line Drawing, Part 1, Cylindrical and Compound Shapes. So you'll draw 4 drawings in your sketchbook of compound shapes, 1 per page, large scale, closed composition. You'll go to modules, you'll turn it in under discussions homework with that file name, cylindrical and compound shapes, drawing number 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Right? And then you'll give yourself a minimum critique. Those are due by Monday at the beginning of class. And you'll respond to at least 2 other different students by Monday at midnight. And don't forget, if you haven't responded to Wednesday's homework, you have until midnight to do that. Okay? All right. So clean up. Folks on Teams, you got any questions before we leave? Okay. Have a good weekend.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye now. I think I just spotted a mistake in the homework explanation, so I'll send you guys an additional. What the heck? Where did critique discussion 1 go? It's disappeared. Huh? They shouldn't, because I don't have due dates associated with them. That's really weird. Now I'm really mad. Yeah, no. I don't have any dates associated with it.
That one was clicked on the first one, I was like, man, guess I just spun and done it. I was like, oh wait, that is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fan. He's like, I got that. Oh, you're bad.
All right, see you later.
Have a good next weekend.
You too.
Okay, I'm just keep thinking of this really corny joke the whole time.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to let you guys know that that skeleton is coming out of the
You're silly. You too. Ming's like, whatever, Lauren.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Why is this not? Ah.
I was wondering, is that one of my charcoal pencils?
It is your charcoal pencil. I have a bad habit of stealing, so
That's okay. Thank you so much for today.
no problem. Can I ask a question before you leave? How do you feel? Hold on.